Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Geek. It's episode 51, and there is a brand new Disney live action remake on in theaters, not on theaters, in the theaters. And so I'm sure that gives a lot of leeway to conversation, whether good or bad. My name is Ren, and for the first time in a while, and I'm glad it is so, I am joined by my co-host of the podcast, Zach Pope. How are you doing today, Zach?
Good, man. We were here last week. 2 weeks in a row now. Neither of us were not busy.
You were
Wasn't I here
No,
last
you
week or
weren't here.
no?
No.
Oh,
You were here 2 weeks ago.
oh shit. Yeah, no. Oh yeah. No, last week we had to move her. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Okay.
And
Yeah,
since
no,
we're
you're
talking
right.
about it, next week, there will not be a show because I am working Saturday. So
Oh, you know what? That works because I have Phoenix
That
Comic Con
works.
out here. So,
All right. Good.
so
Good.
that
So none
works.
of us can be here. That works perfectly fine. And of course, however you're finding us, thank you for finding us, whether you're joining us right now live on YouTube, whether you're watching the replay, or if you're listening to us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast, you're taking us with you on a jog, on a commute, you're crushing some iron at the gym with Arnold Schwarzenegger celebrating the release of Fubar, which I still haven't seen, by the way. Thank you for finding us, however you're finding us. And in case you're new to the show, first of all, welcome. Thank you so much for checking us out. There are three segments usually on this show, unless we do a Q&A episode like we did last week. The first segment is when we do our weekly ranking. That's when me and Zach, and then all of you in the live chat, we rank all the things we watched this past week from worst to best. Then it's the main topic. It's the topic you see on the thumbnail, on the title, and we discuss, in this case, celebrating the release of The Little Mermaid, which there will be a review for that on my channel later today. It's recorded. I'm editing not as we speak because I'm doing the show, but it's in the middle of editing. So today we're going to discuss which Disney live action remakes should be made, and you can present your reasons for it. You can support us through the tip link or the super chat feature, and we'll highlight your suggestions as well. Me and Zach are both going to have two main ones. We can spout some names here and there. I actually have four suggestions, but two of them have caveats. So I have like two real suggestions. And after that, we go to the best part of the show. My favorite part of the show, Zach's favorite part of the show, your favorite part of the show. That's when we answer your questions from the community tab, or again, super chat tip link if you are inclined to support the show. Without any further ado, it's going to be a big show. So let's start with our weekly ranking, and I'll get us started. This is the week I've watched the most things in a while. And I did not watch a single bad thing. I watched something that I'm like, okay, fine. And by the way, because my review is not out yet, I will not be ranking the live action Little Mermaid just yet. But I did watch the original last Sunday in preparation, so that will be in the ranking. All right. Without any further ado, in my last place, we have the unofficial / two casting decisions away from being the official Celine Dion biopic in Love Again. It's perfectly watchable. It's charming. It's fun enough, but it doesn't do really anything new. It just does the things you know to the sounds of familiar Celine Dion songs, which fun enough. I also like the two leads in this. They have nice chemistry. So good one. I enjoyed it. I don't know that I'd repeat watch it, but it was fine. Here comes a hot take, everyone. On top of that, I'm going to have the original Little Mermaid. This was just a film I never loved. It was one I grew up with. I grew up with the entire Disney Renaissance. I had to catch up on two of them. But other than that, I grew up right in the midst of the Disney Renaissance per se. And so this is a visually stunning film with wonderful music by Alan Menken, one of the greatest of all time to ever do it. But I just don't buy the romance in this film. And I also have a lot of trouble with the characterization of Ariel and where it goes. Um, I talk a little bit about that in my review for the new one, so you'll have to wait and see which one do I like more. I think The Little Mermaid is a good movie, and I do get the power it has for a lot of people, but it's just not up there for me. It's a good one, it's solid, and it gave us a ton of many great movies. It started this resurgence of Disney as an animated mastodon. Um, in the world of animation, in the world of cinema. So that comes in second place for me. Well, second from worst. But I like it. I like it. I even like the one I said before. Again, so it's not a bad movie at all. On top of that, I watched one of the greatest monster movies of all time, Van Helsing. This is super underrated. This should have been a major box office success. We should try it again, and that should be the Dark Universe. That's all I'm saying. I love Hugh Jackman in this. The werewolf design is the best werewolf design we've had in anything before or since. It's just fucking awesome. And it's really visually inventive. It takes from the classic black and white ones and has the sort of mummy vibe, Brendan Fraser mummy vibe to it. So I really like this one. And
I
it
really wanted Tom Cruise to be Van Helsing in that new world. But they were
same,
like, "Stay." I was like,
same.
"Isn't that what we're doing?" Oh no, it's not.
No,
Okay,
is he the mutton? Yeah, I don't hate that movie as much as everyone else, but I'm
I've
like
never
the ending
finished it.
was so
I've never
confusing.
finished that thing.
Like I have no idea what they're trying to say with that ending. On top of that, I'm going to have the live action Beauty and the Beast. This is the second best live action remake they've done. I love, 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 love this movie. Luke Evans was born to play Gaston. Then Stevens is wonderful. Yes, Emma Watson does have autotune, but apart from the autotune, I think she's wonderful. I think the additions they give to this live action remake are wonderful as well. It retains the magic. Again, if the question about these live action remakes is, am I ever going to put this one on instead of the other one? And I think of those things as well, but especially for kids. If kids are growing up now, do they get the power of these stories, the messages of these stories with these new versions? And this is one that for sure you get the power of this story and its significance. On top of that, I'm going to have the number one best live action remake so far. That is Cruella. I was in the mood. I got home last night after The Little Mermaid. I rewatched it, and both the Emmas like crush it. Gillespie style crushes it. The score, the needle drops, the soundtrack crushes it. The setting, it all just works. It is very much his own thing, and it is so much better than the thing it's plucking out of with the 101 Dalmatians. I love the style of this. I love the irreverence. I love the unhinged, chaotic nature, and I love how it embraces villainy. It doesn't make Cruella a bad guy. It makes you understand her villainy, like, oh, so this is where her villainy comes from, but it's still very much a villain. It's not a Maleficent situation. 100% still the best live action remake, if you want to call it that. And at number one, I was having a bit of a Disney marathon last week, and so I watched The Little Mermaid, then Beauty and the Beast, and then no surprise, if I watch this movie, it's probably going to be number one that week I watched, and that is the original Lion King. Um, what else can I say? It's the greatest animated film of all time. I do like the remake a lot, though it's not as good as this original, because this original one is absolute perfection and it does never get old. It never fails to make me cry, and it's just the best. That's why I'm sporting the t-shirt today. So Lion King comes into my number one. What about you, Zach?
For me, so at the bottom is the brand new horror film that comes out next week called The Boogeyman. It's not a bad movie. It's not bad. It's just not great. It's disappointing. You can definitely tell that it was based on a short story and they had no idea how to make a full feature film on it. And I'm a scaredy cat, and I didn't think this thing was that scary. But horror is subjective. So is comedy. So what didn't scare me might scare the shit out of you. Up next after that is I watched a lot of things this week. The Little Mermaid, the newest one, which I
Okay.
liked a lot. I liked everything I watched this week pretty much, besides the Boogeyman. And I thought the remake of the Little Mermaid was actually great. I love the original. I don't think it's as great as the original, but I do think they actually improved on the relationship between Prince Eric and Ariel. but I do think the reason to go see the movie is Holly Bailey. There is no doubt in my mind. I think she gives actually, besides Emma Stone and Cruella, I think she gives the best performance in a Disney live action remake. Maybe even better than Emma Stone. But those are two different performances because one is like more on the musical side and one is like, I don't know, Cruella. So take that as what you will. Up next after that, I have The Blackening. Now, I can't go full in this because I'll have a review coming out soon, but this is a brand new horror comedy from Tim Stories. I didn't know what to expect from this one, but it is very funny, and I laughed my ass off like quite a bit. Okay. It kind of reminds me of like when Scary Movie, like when the very first one had ever come out, and it wasn't terrible in the parody genre. This kind of goes back to that, and it kind of modernizes it now for nowadays, and it's funny. I wasn't expecting that, and it's actually really great. Up next after that, I'm starting to rewatch some Transformers movies. And I watched the 1986 Transformers, the movie. This movie is total 80s nostalgia. They play We Got the Touch, We Got the Power at least 8 times throughout this movie.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely awesome. This movie's great. Sometimes it's wild, and I'm having fun rewatching all the Transformers movies. After that, I rewatched the very first Michael Bay Transformers film. Probably going to power through the rest of them today. Maybe we'll see. Those Mark Wahlberg ones are not good. I mean, people will argue all of them aren't good, but I at least like the first 3. I don't mind those ones. The Mark Wahlberg ones, and then I just looked up how long Age of Extinction is, and it's almost 3 hours. I can't believe that I sat through that thing. But the first Transformers I still really like. It was a big part of my childhood, like not I guess teenage years, like going into the movies and like seeing that movie for the very first time and like being like, wow, this is cool. The visual effects still pretty much hold up. Some of the humor's Michael Bay humor. So take it as what you will.
We don't need to explain it.
No. After that, I have Bumblebee. Bumblebee it might be my favorite out of all these. I love what Travis Knight did there, and I think that movie is literally the live action adaptation of The Iron Giant. Like there's no doubt about it. Like almost like beat for beat. I love it, and I wish that's the sequel we would have gotten. I know Rise of the Beast is technically the sequel to Bumblebee. Stephen Cable's talked about it, like, but it's not connected. Like it's a new reboot because Bumblebee didn't make all the money they wanted it to.
Yeah.
Second place this week is Past Lives. I'll have a full review, I think, next week. But this is a brand new Korean drama that premiered at Sundance. I didn't get to see it because it was only in person. And sometimes when these movies like Afterlife last year, which is that what the movie was? Afterlife? What was the one? After Sun. After Sun. Now, I want to go back and rewatch it, but I didn't believe the hype that everyone else was stating on. This movie, I was a little bit worried I wasn't going to feel that. In the first 10 minutes, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm going to be one of the people that's not. And by the end of it, I was a fucking mess. It's a great movie. Nice. Holy shit, it's a great movie. So, but I'm my number 1 for the week. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Rewatched it. Seeing the new one next week.
Okay.
Same. And this is my favorite. This is my favorite comic book film of all time. This is one of my favorite films of all time. It's my comfort movie. When I got stuck flying back from Florida, like back in 2019, I probably rewatched this movie like 5 times at the airport because it was the only movie I couldn't watch. I had no Wi-Fi. I had like barely any connection, but it was the only phone downloaded on my iPad. And the fact that I didn't get bored of it and I still love watching it, that just shows a lot. So
True.
If this second one exceeds all expectations, my channel might be rebranded to Zach Into the Spider-Verse, and you're just going to hear me talk about that. So, but yeah, that's my ranking for the week.
All right. Eric Thorpe reviews. These are my weekly ranking. Number 1, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Number 2, Love and Death. And number 3, Barry. I'm caught up on Barry, by the way. Barry is excellent. Succession and Barry finale on the same day. Nathan Madigan. Number 5, Everybody Wants Some. Number 4, The Princess and the Frog. Number 3, The Lady Vanishes, which I'm not familiar with. Number 2, Dazed and Confused. And number 1, In the Heat of the Night. Emily St. Scott. Weekly ranking. Number 7, Gotham Knights. Number 6, The Flash series finale. I forgot to rank that, honestly. Number 5, Spider-Man Homecoming. Number 4, Captain America First Avenger. Number 3, Captain America Civil War. Number 2, Chicago. Number one, Captain America: Winter Soldier. I definitely flip Winter Soldier and Civil War personally, myself. G number 5, We Own the Night, underrated movie. Number 7, Barry. Can't wait to watch the finale tomorrow on Max. Number 3, My Name Is Earl, and number 2, Rush, underrated movie, one of the best movies to come out that year. And number 1, The Host, Bong Joon-ho's one, not the Stephanie Meyer adaptation. Let me check if we have any more. We do not. So that is it for weekly rankings. All right, everyone. Disney live action remakes. Some of us love them, some of us like them, some of us are different. A lot of people hate them on principle. Even if they turn out to be good, people won't admit it. So we have a brand new one. Now, the movie that started the renaissance of Disney has been made. We know we have Snow White on the way. We know we have Hercules on the way. We kind of know we have Hunchback of Notre Dame on the way. Lilo and Stitch is definitely on the way. And so Cruella sequel is supposed to be made. Jungle Book sequel is like
Lion
not
King,
officially that. Lion King Mufasa is being done. But let's just look at the catalog of Disney. 61 movies in total, including some of the ones they've already done. Which ones should be made? I'm going to start by giving you the two suggestions I have, but with caveats. Very selfish caveats. Don't get me wrong. I fully admit they are very selfish caveats. Then I'm going to give you one of my serious ones. Zach will give you one of his serious ones. And then I give you another serious one, and Zach gives you his last one. So let's start with very obvious one. Nobody's going to be surprised at this. Zach guessed it right away before he started the show. Treasure Planet. Obviously, it lends itself to live action. It was Disney's Star Wars before they had Star Wars. It had no right to flop as hard as it did. Still, to this day, probably the best mix of 3D, CG, and 2D animation I have seen. The caveat is I have to direct it. I'm sorry, you have to wait for me. I need to bring this movie to life in live action. Zach said I should star in it, but I am too old to play Jim Hawkins. I don't want to play Jim Hawkins, and I also don't want to play John Silver. I just want to sit behind the camera on this one. So the other one I got is also lends itself very much to live action. That is Tarzan. I am actually shocked because this one is beloved. It did very well at the box office. It came right on the height of the Renaissance, and that is Tarzan. I think they should totally do this. The caveat on this one is that I want to be in front of the camera as Tarzan. And I was going to say a casting suggestion, but I do have a casting suggestion for this one. Jane is played by Lily Collins, who is Phil Collins' daughter, who did the soundtrack for the original. And yes, you do have to bring him back for the live action one to make the songs, and maybe even new songs, even though the new songs in The Little Mermaid don't work. Wink, wink for my upcoming review on that one. So those are my two special suggestions that have just some caveats to them. Let's talk about serious ones. And I don't know how hot a take this would be, but yesterday I went to watch Little Mermaid with my best friend. We were discussing it after the movie, and we were looking what can Disney do? And we stumbled upon Emperor's New Groove. And this could work. Yeah. I think it really can work if you pick the right actors, if you have the right amount, but the right adjustment when it comes to slapstick. Because slapstick in live action is going to be very different from slapstick in live action. I think it can really work. I think you could do with an Anthony Ramos as Cusco. I don't know who you'd get as Pacha. I looked up some Latino actors, and no one stood out to me as Pacha. No one stood out to me as Kronk, but Salma Hayek as Yzma would be wonderful. I think so. This is one that could work. I think it has the right kind of potential to work in live action. I think the llama would have to look kind of weird.
The best way to do it is, and I hate this movie, but the Pinocchio live action, the way they did the animals in there, like even
Yes,
Jiminy Cricket.
yes, yeah. That has to be your approach to Cusco's llama, because I don't know, llamas are cute, but if you do the Lion King, Little Mermaid kind of approach, is gonna be weird unless you do like Sebastian or the animals in Lion King, most of the animals in Lion King, and you like really exaggerate the eyes and how they convey it. So yeah, that's my first suggestion. What about you?
So I did do a video on this that went up yesterday,
Mhm.
and I'm not going to mention the same ones that you did. So luckily, Treasure Planet was the only one that I had so far that was the same. But I actually am going to do one that's not on the list, and that's The Rescuers Down Under. I don't know why I didn't pick this when I was making my list, but
Hmm.
I really love what they did with the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie, and I think the Rescuers with the mouses and stuff. I think there's like a fun little element to that, and for people who don't remember, The Secret of Nim, that animated movie,
Hmm.
I really love the vibe of that, and I would actually adapt that to live action, that vibe with the rescuers, and I think there would be like a fun little cool thing there. Plus, again, you use kind of the animation that you did with Chip and Dale, put them in live action. I think there would be kind of cool
Yeah.
thing. I really just want more stuff in the Chip and Dale type of thing that they did. So that's kind of like a nice spiritual sequel that they could do right there.
That's a fair point. I like that. All right. My other suggestion, and I'm putting in here because I think even Treasure Planet, Tarzan, Hercules being made, I think out of all the Disney movies, the one that has the best potential for live action, because it could really work with the style, the approach they did it with animation. It could be even better in live action. You'd have to do it like in the way they did Cruella, where it's just the director style all over the thing. And you have to pick the right director, obviously, for this kind of thing, the right fit. Hunchback of Notre Dame. Hunchback of Notre Dame could easily be the best live action remake. It could be miles better than the original, and the original is in my top 10 Disney movies of all time. I love the original, but there's this maturity, this darkness to that story that is unbelievable. How Disney made it in the first place, how Disney made it in the 90s. And it's so chock full of potential. And I don't know if any of you have seen how much they accomplished with this story on stage, and if they can do that much with so little, because Disney did not give them a lot of money to do it on stage, and they still did it so much, so well. I think you bring that to an enormously budgeted movie, and A Hunchback of Notre Dame could easily be one of the best remake, and in general one of the best Disney movies
Who would you have
ever
directed?
made. Who would I have directed? That's
I had an idea, but
I
he's already
I
done.
haven't. Yeah, he's already done it. We're gonna say the same, right?
David Lowery.
Shakespearean.
Oh, I was going to say David
Oh,
Lowery. Are you going to say Kenneth Branagh?
I was gonna say I like David Bowery though. I don't know that I like him more than Kenneth Branagh, but also Kenneth Branagh. I really love him. I think he's a great fit, but he's
Yeah,
also not one like it has to be him and no one else is acceptable. Like
yeah,
I like David Lowery a lot. Just give him the budget, give him the freedom, and give him theatrical because you
yeah.
owe him that, Disney. You
Oh
owe
yeah.
him that.
They should have given.
Um,
I know why they didn't do Peter Pan, but like they should have. Like
yeah,
oh, like
yeah.
yeah,
It feels he was more constrained because it was Disney Plus. I think if it was a theatrical, it would have been like a little looser, like
yeah.
to the likes of Cruella.
Agree.
But yeah, that Hunchback of Notre Dame is 100%. Like it's not even. I like Treasure Planet more. I like Tarzan more. I like Hercules more. But in terms of the one that has the most potential if translated to live action, it's 1,000%
Well,
Hunchback of
that's
Notre
my
Dame
next
for
one,
me.
man. The Black Cauldron.
Oh, you have
The Black Cauldron.
okay.
Well, I was gonna do Hunchback, but I'll do a different one. The Black Cauldron. I think the Black Cauldron for me, it's not one of the best Disney animated films, but that's also the ones that I
No,
think they should remake. Are the ones that maybe didn't get a fair
it's a
shake,
fair
or
point.
maybe have a great idea, but it just wasn't executed great in animation. And this is actually one of the few that, if you didn't want to do a movie for this, why wouldn't you could do a series? The Black Cauldron world's really cool, and you could do a live action series on that, on maybe like the first season being the original animated film, give a little bit more development to everything, and then jump in. That was a darker Disney film as well that was just completely buried. So I have a soft spot for that movie, but I also just think it would be really freaking cool to see. So that's kind of like where I'm at. That's my next one.
All right. Now let's twist it a bit because we still have some time. A lot of people are saying we're not saying Atlantis. I do. Atlantis is one of those
I'd
that
give Atlantis.
I like, but mm,
I
if they
would do
do, it's
Atlantis.
cool. I think it can work, but it's not like on top of my list because I like Atlantis. But I get into conversations with people all the time because I talk Treasure Planet. Oh yeah, that one is underrated, like Atlantis. Yeah, but one is here, another one is here. You know. Please don't make Chicken Little. Let Chicken Little die. That's the worst Disney movie
That was
ever
actually
made.
my next one. I'm not gonna
No,
lie.
it wasn't. No, it wasn't. I don't believe
If
you.
I say Out of the Range, will you make me leave?
Home on the Range. That's the second worst Disney live action remake. Are you making realistic cows?
Yeah, I'd do realistic cows. Like I'd actually, what I would do, I would go to a farm, and I would bring cows to the set, and then I would just like do kind of what they're doing with strays with the visual effects on their mouth.
Okay, I think the only one I accept, the only way I can accept that live action remake is if you end with someone eating a steak made out of those cows.
Fair enough. I'll do that.
All right. We can do that then. It can be done.
Yeah.
All right. But speaking of Chicken Little, speaking of the Home on the Ranges, which ones shouldn't be made? Which ones like don't lend themselves to live action? Like, which is the one that they did? That was that like Alice in Wonderland. I don't think Alice in Wonderland should have been live action whatsoever.
I like that.
I don't. But which ones do you think shouldn't be made, Zach? Which ones do you think like, why are we doing this?
To be honest, I don't think any of them should be. Like, I know we're doing like
fair.
a list of them,
fair.
But like, if they're gonna be made, and then that's the thing. So like, we're doing a list on like what we think should be, on films that shouldn't be. I mean, I really think a lot of the classics just shouldn't be touched, but they've already almost done all of them.
I have one.
What?
Zootopia. Do not do Zootopia live action.
Yeah, I'm not really. I guess I wasn't really thinking the newest ones. You know which one? If they were gonna do all their newer ones, I know they're doing Moana and stuff, but Raya and the Last Dragon would actually like fit the most for like live action.
That's what Bruna said as well, and she said something very accurate after. Like they should do Raya and the Last Dragon in live action because that way people would actually see it because it came out still in the heights of the pandemic and it flopped hard. And it deserves more. I'll tell you right now, that movie is my 11th Disney movie.
I love that movie.
Of all time.
It's in my top 15.
Number 11.
I love that one.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. That movie deserves more love. Zootopia shouldn't be done. I remember hearing that they were trying to make a Robin Hood live action, and
that is actually on my list. If we were going to talk more on which ones I'd want, I actually think they could do it.
Okay.
But again, you have to do it like the style like Pinocchio. I hate that movie, but the only thing they got right was the how the characters looked. Literally,
yeah, that's the thing. I don't think it could work because to do a live action, you either do like photorealistic yet walking on two legs, foxes and bears, and bears do walk on two legs, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Or you turn them into humans, which loses like totally loses the appeal of this Disney version of that story.
Yeah.
I think honestly, and going back to your point of we should do the ones that didn't work out too well, Strange World in live action.
That would be pretty
could
cool.
work.
Yeah,
It could work.
they're gonna bury
And
that thing.
yeah. Another one that I think they should do, because even the animated one, you need like some serious updating on the storytelling of that one. Pocahontas.
That was the
I
one I
think they
don't think
should
they
do
should do either.
Pocahontas.
I don't think
Oh,
they
you
should.
don't? Why not?
No, that one I don't know. I just never really liked the movie as a kid, and I don't really
Me,
care for
me
it now.
neither. I don't like it too much, but and I think that's why they should do it, because
Yeah,
there are some things like with the story with these themes and these, because it's historical. Let's face it.
yeah.
Um, I think this story could very well be served with a new interpretation, and we obviously know if they're going to do a new interpretation, it's going to be live action.
You
And
know which one I
honestly,
actually? Oh,
yeah,
keep going.
no, no,
I'll
no, no,
say
no,
my name. I was gonna say the other one that I was gonna mention on my list is Meet the Robinsons should be remade into live action.
so good. I love that movie. It's my number
I think there's
13.
yeah. I'm actually
I love
stalking your
it.
list right now to see all the films because I know you have all 61.
I have. I did it last week. I was like, hey, let's do it. All right. We also have 2 super chats. So thank you so much in advance. And we're going to start with Tony Movie Chappie, good friend of the channel, huge supporter. Only way I can see the live action remake of Emperor's New Groove is if you went back to the original idea, because people forget it was supposed to be a very different movie than the one we actually got. I actually don't know the original idea. When I suggested it, I was thinking of the movie we actually got, and I really think it could work, man. I really think it could work. Um, but yeah, I genuinely, I didn't even know like there was another idea. So now you're surprising me right now, Tony Movie Chappie. We also have another super chat from, and I lost it. Here it is, Merk Lee. What's your guys' take on where physical media is going? Are you guys converting to digital? I am not converting to digital. I have this philosophy, and I've always had it, and I just live by it. If I can't touch it, if I can't have it like in my hand, I'm not paying for it. And you might raise the point, do you pay for Netflix or any streaming service? Yes, I'm paying for the access. I don't own any of those movies, any of those shows. I pay for the access to put them on. Physical media, I own it. If I'm paying for it, if I'm paying 15, 20 bucks, 30 bucks for it, it's not an icon on my screen. It's something that I can pick up. I have a disc. Same with games. Same with, it's why Zach, me, it's why I like action figures. Like I could have the game for Spider-Man and just have all the suits. And so I have Miles Morales. I have Scarlet Spider. I have Kane. I have Black Suit Spider-Man. I can't touch it. Like having a figure, it's where it's at for me. So physical media, unfortunately, a lot of people are converging to digital. Unfortunately, it is dying. That's just a sad fact that I wish wasn't true. But it is dying. But as long as movies keep coming out, movies I like, obviously, I'm not gonna buy movies I don't like. But physical media forever, man. Zach.
Yeah, same. If I can't touch it, I don't own it. And why the hell does it cost the same amount to go buy something digitally than it is to go buy a Blu-ray?
Yeah,
Like why?
exactly.
Like the Super Mario Brothers movie is like $30 to own, where I could pre-order it for like $35 and physically own that thing. Because you know what happens? Like what's going on Disney Plus now, and a lot of stuff's getting
Mhm.
cut and taken off. You can never watch it again. I mean, eventually they'll go somewhere, hopefully. There's a lot of movies that aren't anywhere. Um, so that's the biggest thing. And I for me, like owning like game I look at it as like gaming's a big thing. Gaming, I try to buy every game physical if I can. Mostly
Mhm.
because that market is even worse than movies. There's a lot of games that are highly expensive because you just can't play them anywhere else. Because you can't emulate them. I mean you can, but it's technically illegal. You're not supposed to do that. So I don't know. I think digital is like the worst thing possible. Sure, it's a
But that's,
convenience sometimes, but you don't
yeah,
own it.
it saves you space, sure, but also in physical media, things look and sound better.
Yep.
Movies sound much better.
Yep.
I watched Star Wars on Disney Plus. I watched Star Wars on my 4K collection. Looks
Yep.
much better on the 4K collection.
Yep.
Um, Also, like you just brought it up, like the pricing is Horrible, the
Yeah.
difference or lack thereof. You pay for the same thing if you like own it or if it's just a logo on your screen. How does that make sense? I don't even know how people are going for digital if it is the same price. Like if I'm going to pay $30 for something, I'm at least like gonna be able to touch it, pick it up. So yeah. And we have another super chat, Crashing Coyote. Thank you so much, Crashing Coyote. Elemental live action. Oh wait, that's just Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's true. It's kind of true, except with a lack of humans. I would even compare it to
Yeah.
Frozen because like she becomes the Avatar by the end of that movie, controlling all the elements. So it's a good shout. You know another one that would not work, Zach?
What?
Dinosaur.
No, I want it. I want it.
Yeah,
If
you
they're
want
gonna
it?
remake stuff, yeah, why not? Just give me that one too. Jurassic Park made a bunch of
Jurassic
money.
Park without the humans.
Yeah,
Um,
they have
you
the
know
little
which
monkey people running around in that film.
you know which one could work in a very specific way would
Huh?
be the Three Caballeros. It's
Oh,
a
I love
Disney
that.
movie I
That
adore,
would go. I love
but
that movie.
you don't make it a remake. You do a sequel because in
Yeah,
the original you already have live action sequences. You have Donald and the other guys all going through,
they
mixing
just
in,
do
interacting
Chippendale.
with real people.
They do Chippendale. Exactly
Yeah,
what they did.
do Chippendale.
I
Yeah.
and I'm telling you right now, I've actually heard rumors on this, is that
Oh,
Disney is looking into making something with like a movie like with Mickey, Donald, all them again
oh
because
okay.
of the success of Mario. And I did hear that part of it was they
Uh,
were looking at a Kingdom Hearts thing, but just doing the Disney characters,
hmm.
and then another thing was literally doing a straightforward Mickey Mouse film. And I gotta be honest with you, it is kind of shocking that they haven't done that. Like that's your mascot.
It doesn't shock me because it's their mascot. Because it's their mascot, they don't want to risk it. Because imagine that movie comes out and it's panned, it's slandered, it's horrible. Their brand, their image is
Is now
damaged.
tied to that, yeah.
Like it's a big gamble. So because of the reason like you're shocked they haven't made it, it's the reason I'm shocked. I'm not
Dude,
shocked they
that's
haven't
when you
made it.
get Pete Doctor involved. That's when you get like the most
Ooh.
iconic people that have ever made like animated films for them. Or
Get
like,
the Spider Verse people on.
yeah. Oh, dude, can you imagine Kemp Powers comes in, who just did
Yeah,
Soul as well?
yeah, true.
I'd love it.
All right. I think that's it for suggestions. Like I don't have any other one that like wouldn't work or at least I mean don't do Chicken Little, don't do Home on the Range.
No, do
Um
them all. Just do them all. Just show
do
me
them
how
all.
bad you can make them. It doesn't
Do them
matter to
all.
me.
Don't do Great Mouse Detective. That's an underrated one.
No, do
Also
that one.
don't do Wreck-It Ralph.
No, do
Don't
that
do
one.
Wreck-It
Why
Ralph.
not? Do it
No.
all. If they're
Because the
doing
whole appeal of
Moana, they
Wreck-It
might as well do
Ralph
everything.
No, the whole appeal of Wreck-It Ralph is even if you look beyond like animation, which it is obviously, the whole thing is a video game. So it's always has to look animated. If you, it's the same thing as Robin Hood, but in a different for a different
Yep.
reason. Like if you do Wreck-It Ralph in live action, it kind of loses the purpose, which is to be a video game. I remember like watching that movie. That was the first time, and it was early on after they converted from 2D to 3D, which I was like, I love that this is in 3D and not 2D. I think it works much better because it is in 3D. So, yeah, you should not do that one. All right. And with that out of the way, we're going to go into your questions, which you've been leaving in the community tab. Again, we'll do our best to get to them. But you guys know what's the best way to guarantee your questions. Again, thank you to Crashing Coyote. Thank you to Merk Lee. Thank you to Tony Movie Chappie. We really appreciate your support. It's a huge, huge help. And we start with Lady Erin. During this week, we lost the legendary musician Tina Turner. If you have any, what are your favorite Tina Turner songs? Do you have a favorite movie moment containing a Tina Turner song? And rest in peace. I'm going to be honest with you. Obviously, it's she's a legend in the music world. She's an icon. When I first saw like the news on a chat, I was like, I thought she was dead already. That was my reaction. And obviously, it's sad, but I was never a Tina Turner guy. It's not that I dislike Tina Turner or anything. It just was never an artist I followed. So if I tell you Simply the Best is my favorite song from her. It's probably because it's the only one I know it's from her. Like, I'm sure I know many other songs from her, not thongs, songs from her, but I just don't know, like, in my head, yes, that's a Tina Turner song, and that's a Tina. So I don't have a lot of connection there. Obviously, it's a sad passing. Obviously, I hope her friends and family, closest ones, are okay. But I genuinely thought she had passed already. Zach, what about you?
I knew she was still alive, but I wasn't like huge on her. But
Mhm.
same feelings as you.
All right. Um, with the live action Little Mermaid finally out, do you like animated version or the live action version more, and
I
why?
don't
You'll
think
have
Ren
to
can
wait to
answer
see
this. Yeah,
my
I was about to
review.
say because of
Yeah,
your review. So, and you can just go
you'll
watch
have to
mine
wait
for
for my
my
review.
thoughts on that.
All right. Lady Aaron, is the live action Little Mermaid ranked as one of the better Disney live action movies, one of the worst, or in the middle? In the middle. In the middle. It's one of the good ones. I'll let you know that. It's one of the good ones. And to me, it's right in the middle. So yeah. Zach?
I have a ranking coming out at 8,
Wow.
so feel free to
Let's
watch it after this
math.
podcast.
All right. Lady Aaron, thoughts on the new Barbie trailer that we got a couple of days ago? If you have seen it, you know my answer. Zach, have you seen it?
I didn't because I talked to my friend who saw it and he said they showed too much, so I didn't want to watch it.
I didn't see it, and that's what I heard too. So I was like,
Yeah,
yes.
I sent it to him. I said, please tell me if this shows too much. If it does, I'm not going
Mm,
to watch it and react. And he said, yep, don't watch it. I was
all
like,
right.
okay, I'm not going to watch it then. You
Lady
know what his
Aaron.
exact words were? He goes, Warner Brothers is getting desperate with this movie. He goes, it must not be tracking well. If they're showing,
Oh,
he goes,
okay.
if they're showing all
Yeah.
that stuff.
All right. Interesting. Lady Aaron, if you have looked at the track list of songs and artists that will be a part of the Barbie soundtrack, what are your thoughts on it, and what are you most excited to hear and listen to? Did not pay attention. It's a
Don't
bunch
care.
of artists
Yeah.
I don't normally listen to, so I was not
I saw
like,
Ryan Gosling's on it. That's all I care about.
yeah, he sings a song called
Yeah.
"I'm Just Ken," which cool, but I did not investigate too much onto
Yep.
it.
Same.
Where are we? There we go. It You have been chosen to create and direct the movie of your dreams. What would the movie be about, and what kind of genre would the movie be? Um, who would have to write the script? Who would star in it? Who would compose the music score for your movie? It's Treasure Planet. It's Treasure Planet, the live action movie. I would bring in Hans Zimmer. I'm writing. I'm directing. And Hans Zimmer's doing the score, but it's Treasure Planet. Zach?
I'd make a movie based on Ren's life. I would direct it,
Ah.
but he would compose the music, the score. He'd write the script, and it would all be from the first person, and it'd be in black and white. So there you go. I'm gonna make my own Oppenheimer with Ren.
Oh wow! Oh wow! I cannot wait to see that. We need to make that happen now. Studios, give us the money, goddammit! Lady Aaron, what is your favorite Disney song that is exclusive and new towards a Disney live action remake? If you have one, oh, 1,000% Evermore from Beauty and the Beast should have been nominated for an Oscar. I don't remember if it should have won. I need to go back and look at the list of the nominees. But in terms of the Disney live action remakes, 100% the best song created for those, Evermore from Beauty and the Beast, closely followed by Speechless from Aladdin. Zach?
I don't even want to say mine. I don't even think you want me to say mine because I think you're gonna be annoyed.
Wait,
Scuttle.
wait. Oh no, no, it's not. No, it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah. That's the first one popping in my head, so I'm gonna say Scuttlebutt.
But it's not. So I'm at peace. I'm at peace
I
knowing it's
don't
not
know any of
accurate.
them because they're all fucking forgettable. That's the only one that's memorable, and I don't know if it's memorable because I liked it or
Oh.
not. So
How can you say Evermore is forgettable? How
I don't.
dare you? That's
Dude, I have
just
no. What
wrong.
fucking song is that? I don't
That's
know.
just wrong. It's the one the
Uh,
beast sings when Belle goes away.
oh yeah, that one was good. I guess.
And the Jasmine song.
I'm not.
Remake Jasmine is better than
I
original
didn't like
Jasmine.
that song. I didn't like that song.
Oh,
I didn't like
you
that
get
song.
out of here with that heresy. Okay, we got that one. SPC Unleashed. Favorite moment in the Renaissance era of Disney films.
What's the Renaissance
It's in
era?
which one?
What's the Renaissance era? I don't know what films are on
Renaissance
there.
era is Little Mermaid to Tarzan.
I'm looking.
Yeah.
Okay, Little Mermaid, Pocahontas, Beauty. Okay, I know. I can answer this now.
For me, it's one of the greatest movie moments of all time. It's the ascension at the end of The Lion King when Simba finally ascends Pride Rock and roars, bringing peace and prosperity to the kingdom after the rain washes all the bad stuff away. 100%, 100% that. Always makes me cry. It's the moment in The Lion King where I'm like, God damn it.
The entirety of the Beauty and the Beast animated film. That film is just like pure magic.
Yeah.
Like that. It was the first one. It was the first animated film ever nominated for Best Picture too. So
yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was the first, and until 2009 with Up, it was the only one.
Yeah. So we get, and then Toy Story 3 was next, and then that's been it. I don't think there's been one since.
That's been it. Soul should have been the fourth one.
Yep, agree.
Lady Aaron, Ren, what is your favorite legendary / mythical Pokemon from every region so far? I'm not gonna count on every. It's Rayquaza and Entei. Those are my favorites. Those are the best ones.
Those ones are awesome. Mine's
and they happen to be from different. Ooh, yeah. Lugia, yeah.
Lugia is my favorite, and then I love. Does Mewtwo still count, or is it like?
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, Mewtwo as well.
All right, but yeah, I can't.
Awesome,
I can't off the top of my head like count all the regions. Where are we? Nope. There we go. If you could bring some music artists that are gone from this world back to life so you could see them in concert, who would they be? Freddie Mercury. Easy.
Yep.
That's it for me. How about you?
Yeah, I mean that would be
the one. Okay,
that was the first one I thought of.
I thought you were going to go with that guy. He was really young. Mac Miller.
Oh, yeah, he'd be one too. He'd probably be my second. Yeah, I love Mac.
Lady Aaron, who are some music artists that you have not seen in concert yet that are on your bucket list to one day watch a show of theirs? I don't have one. I don't think too much about it. It's going to surprise a lot of you that know me that I haven't seen Ed Sheeran live. But I don't have a bucket list for anything like that. Do you have any?
Not really. I've seen who I wanted to see. I just kind of go with the flow. Plus, it's expensive. I don't.
Yeah, it's true. Things. And then I'm not gonna go to a concert alone. So,
yeah.
If you like going to concerts alone, I'm not judging. Like, I wish I liked it, but yeah. Lady Aaron, what is your personal favorite Disney live-action remake so far, and why was your least favorite? Cruella is number one. Alice Through the Looking Glass is in last place. That movie is awful. It's god-awful. It's, I hate it. Zach, you're going to have a ranking tomorrow,
yeah.
So yeah. Thoughts on Adam Driver being the honorary starter at the Indy 500 tomorrow? If you've heard about it, cool. I don't have any thoughts. Is Indy 500 like a racing kind of thing?
You're asking the wrong person, man. Okay. I think so.
Okay. I wouldn't know. Zach literally doesn't know either, so no thoughts there. Lady Aaron, Memorial Day weekend coming up. What are your plans for it, if you have any? It's just weekend here, and I work tomorrow, so no proper weekend for me. We don't have Memorial Day here, so I don't have any like particular plans. Zach?
Nothing. Just doing, because it's too busy everywhere.
Yeah. Since I know you, Ren, you have probably listened to the original and deluxe versions of Aurora. What are some of your favorite songs from that soundtrack that you love to listen to? Honeycomb, Regret Me, Aurora, and The River are like the top four. You haven't watched Daisy Jones and the Six, right?
No, I'm planning on it though. Once Succession, Barry, and Ted Lasso are done, I'll start some new shows.
Yeah, definitely watch it. Okay, the first question from Nathan.
I'm not answering that. We should not. Yeah, Can't talk
Okay,
about that.
we're gonna skip the first one from Nathan Holton,
Sorry,
even
Nathan.
though it's out there, unfortunately. But yeah, we knew about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nathan Holton, predictions and theories for Spider-Verse. I hope it's an amazing movie. That's all I'm predicting, and that's all I'm theorizing on. I'm not thinking too much about it because I want to know as little as possible.
I can't answer this.
Okay.
I know a lot. I know a lot
Okay.
more than I want to, so I can't answer that one.
Nathan Holton, thoughts on Thunderbolts filming delay? Pay the writers. Pay the writers.
Yep.
Pay the
It's
writers.
the same thing on the why everything that's being delayed. Pay the writers.
Yeah. Pay the writers. Nathan Holton, thoughts on Spider-Man 2 trailer and Alone in the Dark trailer. I did not watch Spider-Man 2 trailer because it's a gameplay trailer, so I'm not interested. Give me a story trailer, and that's all I care about. Alone in the Dark trailer, the only thing I heard recently about Alone in the Dark is that they're doing a movie. So yeah.
I watched the Spider-Man thing. It was awesome. It was fucking incredible. I wasted an entire hour watching that PlayStation showcase for the last 10 minutes to be Spider-Man and nothing else. So thank you, Sony. Thank you, Sony, for wasting my time.
All right. Thoughts on the Flash prediction of only 17 million worldwide?
That's domestic. That report.
That's domestic.
70 million domestic opening weekend. That's long range tracking. Now, long range can always go up because if we want to compare it, the Robert Pattinson Batman film long range was at 70 to 80 million. It ended up doing what, like 125, 130?
Yeah.
Now, the only thing is because Elemental and The Flash come out the same day. So there will be families. Yeah. So there will be families. When's Elemental come out for you?
Hang on. Cineworld. It's like 2 weeks later, I think.
That's dumb. That's stupid. But anyways,
July 7th, a month later.
That's dumb. They should. That's how the United States actually should be, because both of those films, while they're not the same people, the problem with that is families are going to take, most likely, like parents who really want to see The Flash are going to take their kids to see The Flash over Elemental.
Yeah.
But the predictions, it's long range. It's worrisome right now, but not as bad as Black Adam's long range was, or Shazam's. Those long range were like 10, 15. They ended up getting to like 25, and then like Black Adam obviously I think got like 56, 60. But yeah, that's not worldwide. Worldwide's too
still, I will say that if it ends up like making that, it's not awful, but it is very underwhelming. Mm-hmm. Very underwhelming. If it does end up making the 70 mil, even if domestic, if it was worldwide, that disaster. That would be a disaster. Nathan Holton, thoughts on Mission Impossible runtime of 2 hours 36 minutes? Exciting, man. Give me more Mission Impossible. The more, the better. So yeah, Zach.
I want to be so excited for this movie, and I've only heard amazing things. I know people who have seen it.
Okay.
Fallout was so good. Like, it's the same thing with Spider-Verse, and I think I've said it. How do you make something better than what you last did? And I should trust Christopher McQuarrie. I should trust Tom Cruise, but like, Fallout was incredible, and then you did Top Gun Maverick, and it's like, is he really going to go 3 for 3 like in a row? You know?
Yes, he is.
I think my only worry with Mission Impossible, and I'll say this, is it all stunts or is there legit story? Because Fallout for me had one of the better stories in that entire franchise, and I'm really hoping, since this is part 1 of a finale, I'm really hoping that the stakes are there, the story is there, and that's what I want, because I hope it's not just all stunt. I think that's my worry, because I know the stunts are going to be great, but I definitely want to feel emotionally invested with Ethan Hunt, and I think that's my one thing. But 2 hours and 36 minutes, awesome. Give me it. I want to film, like, sometimes I'll roll my eyes at runtimes, but these bigger films, specifically the amount of finales we're getting in the next few years, I'm okay with the longer run times for that.
But going back to your point, speaking of going 3 for 3, if you just look at the Mission Impossible franchise, Ghost
Yeah.
Protocol,
Yeah.
Rogue Nation, Fallout.
Oh, I'd even put 3 in there. I love 3.
Great stunts in all of them, but
Yeah.
really great continuous story, great continuous narrative. So in that sense, I'm not afraid personally, because they're just going from strength to strength. Nathan Holton, thoughts on Elemental 40 million opening predictions. Once again, Disney has devalued the Pixar brand by pulling them
Not
on
Disney,
to Disney
Bob
Plus.
Chapek.
Bob Chapek, yeah, fair. Well, but he was the face of Disney for that time. Like that era, that management of Disney devalued the Pixar brand. Like, let's not pretend that all the Pixar movies used to make like 100, 110, 120 million opening weekends. Yeah, but they used to make a lot more than what they're tracking. And again, this is just tracking. So in the long run, they could make, even if they don't open it the best, they could
look at Puss in Boots. Puss in Boots did awesome in theaters. So
even though it was on digital like 2 weeks after it premiered in theaters.
I really want Elementals to succeed. And I'm going to be honest, if this film doesn't succeed, they're going all sequels. I mean, we're already seeing it, like with what's in development, but I can almost guarantee you, where like Incredibles 3 gets announced, probably even a Monsters Inc. 2. They're gonna go back and they're gonna touch on almost all their franchises that it made a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, but what's gonna be interesting is when Inside Out 2 comes out and Toy Story 5 comes out. Because I'll tell you right now, as big as a Toy Story fan I am, I do not think 5 will make a lot of money. I think fans will look at it and be like, "What the fuck is this?" Unless the trailer's great. Great, I can see a majority of people going, "Why? Okay, you did 4, but why?" So I don't know. Disney really needs to. They're gonna eat their shit for a while on their Disney animated films.
It's true. Nathan Holton, why do you think Cruella 2 hasn't happened? There was so much talk, and they're still developing.
They're busy.
Like the Emmas are busy, Gillespie is busy, like everyone's just busy. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it still goes only Disney Plus? Because when it was announced, they said it was only
no, not at all. And I'm glad I was able to watch even the first one in theaters, because I got the screener on Disney Plus, but then they had a hybrid, like pay on Disney Plus and go to the theaters release, and I was like, theater it is. Ricardo Solovisa, thoughts on Andy Muschietti just spoiling a giant cameo in The Flash on an interview this week? It's stupid, man. Again, I'm really happy on this one that I knew about it. Like, I asked someone I know that I had seen it, like, "Oh, just tell me the cameos," and that name was amongst the cameos, and I was like, what? And then I got some details about it. Like, it's the same thing as like last week. It wasn't the director in that case, but like the rap just putting out the spoiler for the mid-credit scene of Fast X.
I'm going to be honest, though. I wonder if this interview is supposed to come out afterwards and Warner Brothers gave the okay to Variety to post it. It seems like something that, I don't know. It seems like it's like the Wonder Woman being advertised in Shazam like the week prior. Yeah. I don't know.
I will say it could be a case of it tracking for only 17 million domestic, and they could like be trying to up it. Like, is that the one that's gonna get it to like 120, 100? Like, it's not.
I could ask Cynthia right now, and she would be very confused if I told her that cameo.
Exactly, because it's so incredibly niche.
Oh, it is. Like, I
knew immediately what it was
about it. Yeah, I told my coworker about it, and he looked at me. He's like, "Why?" So then I explained everything to him, and he goes, "Oh, that's cool." But like, he was like,
"You have to explain it."
Yeah, literally told me, he goes, "I'm glad you told me that, because now I can explain it to my wife." Like, he's like, she's not gonna get it.
Did you read the actual interview? Like, what he actually said?
No, okay. I didn't.
Because I didn't. Like, I assume he says the name, but he doesn't mention like specifics.
I think he does. Fuck. Let me
Fuck,
look. I'm gonna look
why?
up the interview now because I already
Why?
know the specifics.
Okay, check it while I go to the next question. Um, Nathan Madigan, with high praise coming out of Cannes, are you excited for Jonathan Glazer's director of the Under the Skin newest film, Zone of Interest? No idea what the word is. Again, if I don't see the movie, I'm not interested in what anyone has to say.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No.
Variety's a piece of shit because his quote is really just talking about working with this person
Okay.
and that this person is a massive fan of comic books and that character. Variety is the one that says this person is making a cameo as this person as a full cert and then explains the whole thing.
Oh, fuck off. That is awful. That is awful.
Oh, and then
I do not like that.
That's awful. That's awful.
Yeah.
That
but
seems like
I was saying,
that shouldn't have came out till afterwards. I feel like Andy said it. You know how like sometimes they'll do the interview, it's supposed to come out afterwards. So okay.
Yeah.
Done. That's
100%.
dumb though. That's awful.
Yeah, I'm very excited, but I was excited like long ago. As soon as it was announced, he's making another movie, I'm excited. I don't care about anything else. I just want to see the movie. But I have no idea what people are saying. Zach, are you excited for Jonathan Glazer's next film? I always call him Jonathan Glazer.
Yeah, I loved Under the Skin, and
it's so good.
I have seen people's reactions. To be honest, I didn't know that he did Under the Skin. I didn't know his name. I just thought, oh, this is a movie getting a lot of high praise, so that's good to know.
All right. Eric Thorpe reviews. If you could have any DC movie cameo in The Flash, let's say excluding DCU, since that's when The Flash takes place initially, so multiverse-wise, I mean, who would it be? I cannot answer that question because I know all the cameos. So if I answer that question, you're going to be like, oh, so that person is not in the movie. So that person does not cameo in the movie. So I have to stay. And I've told Zach all the cameos. Zach knows the cameos because I told him. So if you want to blame anyone for Zach not answering this question, blame me. He probably would have found out by
Can
other
I
people.
Throw one in that we know that's not in there? Like everyone knows he's not in there, but I would have liked it. Like,
do people know he's not in there though?
If they
tell me the name. Tell me the name of the private chat. Hang on. Zach is throwing you guys a bone. Yes, you can.
Okay. Ray Fisher is Cyborg. I mean, he's not in it, but I would have liked him to be in it. It kind of would have made sense, specifically because of Barry. Am I wrong?
No,
everyone knows he's not in it. I mean,
That's
they just
true.
didn't put his icon on the fucking Max thing. So.
Oh man, that I did not think you were going there. Damn. Okay.
Who do you think I was gonna say?
I don't know, but I wasn't expecting that one. If you can improve one of the MCU entries you didn't like or loved, how would you fix it to make the movie or show better? I'd have to think about it. Like I can think of like a few things here and there in movies, in Multiverse of Madness or Wakanda Forever. Like it's too long an answer if I go into how I would fix like the stuff I didn't like. And usually I already cover that when I do spoiler reviews, so I don't have too much to add here, nor do we have like the time. It'd be unfair to like rush through something like that. So yeah. Zach, do you have any suggestions?
First thing that popped in my head, not super deep, but I would have in the Eternals got rid of the deviants completely. Maybe had the alien creatures as a thing, but the one that talks and shit, I would have just cut all that out. That's honestly the one weakness of that film. Other than that, I love that movie. So.
All right. Nathan Madigan, are there any underrated or overlooked war movies you'd recommend to watch this Memorial Day? Underrated, overlooked war movies. War movies. I actually have one. It's called, let me check, Operation Anthropoid. Yeah, one is called Operation Anthropoid. It's quite underrated. I feel it's Cillian Murphy and Jamie Dornan in it. Toby Jones is also in it. It's really, really, really good. Um, what else? Do you have any, Zach? Like while I search for others,
I really liked Devotion last year. I know,
still
maybe
haven't
we
seen
shouldn't be
it.
talking about. Yeah, I thought that was kind of underrated.
Mhm.
I know we're not supposed to talk about one of the stars in that movie right now, but
Yeah, that's true.
I really like that movie. Kind of looking through Black Hawk Down's really good. I don't think a lot of people
Never
talk
seen
about
it.
that one. It's good. Fury's underrated. If you want a
Um,
cool war film that's a little bit of a horror film at times, Overlord is fucking
Overlord
awesome.
is really cool. This one is not like a war film properly, but it's like a soldier film. Megan Levy with Kate Mara.
That's a
It's
good
about
one.
a
Yeah.
soldier and the dog, and it goes into the. Oh, I have one. Eye in the Sky. Eye in the
Oh,
Sky
that's a great
is
one.
top 10 movies of 2016. You guys should watch it. Helen Mirren, one of the last, if not the last performance of Alan Rickman. It's great. It's so good. Watch Eye in the Sky if you have not.
That's a
It's
great one.
excellent. It's
Yep.
excellent. GWP with Killers of the Flower Moon out right now. It is your top 5 Scorsese movies. Well, it's not out right now. It's coming out
It
later in the year.
premiered.
It premiered in Cannes. It started its festival run, but it's not out. Top 5. Taxi Driver is still his best movie. Wolf of Wall Street, Silence, Goodfellas,
Departed.
Departed. Yeah, probably The
Gangs of New
Departed.
York. There's a
Ooh,
lot.
hang on. Yeah, take Departed out. Gangs of New
You want
York.
me? You want me to be honest right here? I've still never seen that one. That's like one of his
It's
only movies I've never
so
seen.
good.
So my number 1 is Wolf of Wall Street. My number 2 is Wolf of Wall Street. My number 3 is Wolf of Wall Street. My number 4 is Wolf of Wall Street. My number 5 is Goodfellas. But I do love
like-
Taxi Driver. I do love Casino.
It's lacking
I
some
do
taxi
love Silence
driver.
for me, though. I would go as far as say I do think Silence is his most underrated movie, and it's probably my second favorite. Like if I were to actually go through his whole filmography, I love that movie. Shark Tales is also good. He didn't direct it, but he stars in it.
Eric Thorpe reviews. I guess if you know spoilers for these movies, don't answer this.
We can't
but
answer this
if
one.
not, who do you think is most likely to die of these characters? Michael Keaton's Batman in the Flash, Batfleck in the Flash, or Indy in Dial of Destiny? I don't know.
I can't answer this. So.
I don't know, but I know enough to like easily predict. I'll tell you this about Indy. I don't know anything about Indiana Jones. I don't know anything.
I'll throw a prediction. I don't know anything about Indy either, but I know I have a feeling on this. I don't think they kill him off. I don't think. I think a year ago I would have thought that, but the way that people are reacting, given I haven't read a lot of reactions, it's mostly just been sentences, and just in general the tone of the film, it doesn't seem like the movie to kill him off, and I don't think they should. I don't think they should. I think No Time to Die was a unique thing for what they handled with that James Bond character, but.
It's after years of established that there can be different versions of the same character.
Yeah. So this is different. I think you let Indy run off into the sunset, however, or just retire or whatever. I really just want to know what happened to Mutt. That's all I care about.
Let me go back to shrinking people on Apple TV Plus. God damn it! I'm too old for this shit.
Yes.
Eric Thorpe reviews. Do you think The Flash has a decent chance of hitting $1 billion? I never know at DC anymore. I've been telling you always, like, I don't think it's impossible, but I also don't think it like has the best chance right now. I don't think it does. But again, ask me week to week as we see the numbers evolving and changing and close and all that. Yeah. So yeah. Do you think the Jon Snow sequel is still happening? It sort of was a big announcement and seemed to vanish. I told you from the beginning, I'm not too interested. I don't know what they're doing that sounds interesting with this. So I don't know that it is still happening, but also if it doesn't, I'm not too bothered by it. So yeah. And Zach seems to have disappeared, so I'll keep going. Okay. He's back. Eric Thorpe, since Flash is the movie resetting the universe to usher in Gunn's DCU, presumably, do you think Aquaman 2 might take place before? Also, maybe Blue Beetle if that's in the DCU. Cannot answer the Aquaman question. When it comes to Blue Beetle, like we've talked about that one, like in this aspect, Blue Beetle is one they're waiting and seeing. They're waiting and seeing like how it's received. If we're going to insert it into the DCU, how can we blend it in? And if people don't like it, if it flops, if they don't want it, they just say, yeah, that's in the DCU, whatever, and they can easily forget about it. So, Zach?
I'm gonna be honest. I just someone sent me a rumor on something, so I kind of like just zoned out. It's just about Spider-Man 2, like when the release date is.
Oh.
Okay. Blue Beetle for me, I think they're gonna take out all the references and keep it pretty straightforward. If they don't, this is what I'll say. If it succeeds, goes into James Gunn's universe. If it doesn't, oh well. Maybe if they bring back the character and it's in like someone else's movie, we'll see the same character. But other than that, it's separate.
All right. It's a Flash movie. Nathan Madigan, thoughts on surprise cameos in big blockbusters such as Shazam 2, Fast X, The Flash being spoiled ahead of time in commercials, Hollywood trades, and directors. I hate it. I don't like it. Because the big cameos, like they're not the meat of the movie. They're not what makes the movie. They shouldn't be. Otherwise, you don't have a very good movie. So the entire point of those is to be these big surprises when you're experiencing the film. So to spoil them, like it's annoying in commercials, it's annoying in trades, it's questionable, head scratching when it's the directors themselves. Like, what's the point of having these cameos? Like if they're spoiled, I see no purpose in having them. So yeah, Zach.
No, I agree, man. It's just dumb.
All right. Eric Thorpe reviews. How many times generally do you go see a movie that you're really hyped for in theaters? It depends. If I'm really hyped, it depends on how much I like it after that. After having that first watch, if I love it, then I'll go back to it. But if I'm hyped and then expectations at the door, watch the movie and it disappoints, I'm not going to go watch it again. So yeah. Zach?
It depends on how much I love the movie, how much time I have, and how much money's in my wallet. If I had more time, I probably would have seen Guardians like 2 or 3 more times at this point. Avatar, I got to see like 6-7 times. One of the reasons being there was no other films coming out. There's no more press screenings. That was the last film of the year pretty much. So I got to see, there was 4 press screenings. I went to all 4, and then I had friends who wanted to see it afterwards. So I kept going back and seeing it. I also had more time because there was nothing coming out. So it honestly just depends on that. I think when I was younger, it was a little bit easier because I wasn't reviewing movies, so I wasn't going out and seeing almost every fucking movie. But now it's kind of changed where every week there's 2 to 3 screenings. Every week there's videos I have to do that and that, or TV or prep work. And by the weekend, I don't want to watch a movie, to be honest. Like that's just sometimes how I feel is I just want to play Legend of Zelda and not do anything else.
All right. Jacob B, thoughts on Deadpool 3 starting shooting during the writer's strike, meaning Ryan Reynolds can't improvise since he's a member of the WGA. Do you think they should delay production or they'll add in improv in reshoots or in ADR since Wade will have his mask on? So this one is complicated because we don't know all the details. They're also shooting over here, so they're international, which means there could be works around it. I don't know if there could. We don't have all the information. Just looking at what we do know and having the context we do have, do I think they should delay it? Yes. Support your writers.
Everything should be delayed. And SAG might go.
Yeah.
If SAG
might go,
and then DGA, the studios are fucked. They'll have to pay in.
Yeah, 100%. And hopefully they don't take too long. But yeah, I think they should delay it. Like, keep supporting your writers, and then when they're back, Go do your movie. And the faster everyone supports a writer, the faster everyone like stands behind them, and the faster we have the DGA, the WGA on strike, and everyone on strike, and the SAG, the faster all those strikes will be over because the studios will be forced. They'll have no way out. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Zach?
From what because I've asked like a couple insiders on it, he can't improvise. Like legally, he can't improvise. From everything that everyone understands, but ADR is a thing. He's wearing a fucking mask. He can fucking. That's how you fix it on the back end. Or you do what Kevin Feige is smart on. He schedules reshoots. When they go back, hey,
they probably already do.
Yeah, like they already know what they're gonna have to reshoot because of this, and there's probably stuff that they've already decided on. Like Thunderbolts, the reason that movie probably got delayed is because the script was not finalized, and good on Marvel for delaying it, because you don't want to go into production on a film that you are very like confident in and not have a good script. Same with Blade. That's why it got delayed indefinitely. And the reason Captain America is filming is because it was already filming beforehand. That script's done. Like obviously writers do a lot of stuff on set too with like rewrites and stuff, but at that point, whatever they need to fix in Captain America, they're just doing reshoots.
Yeah. Alrighty. To the movie Chappie question: do you think that DS? Do you think live action Disney remakes are really made for the new generation? And I know it's hard for people to buy into that, but especially how DS again remakes have introduced kids. I'm not sure. Like, if I stop with "are really made for a new generation," yeah, absolutely. Mostly it's to make money, because that's why movies are made. But yeah, I have no problem with having new versions of these stories for new generations. Like, I'm not sure what you mean, like the rest of your question. But if your question is, do I think these movies are really made for a new generation? To make money, and make money off of new generations that come accompanied by the parents that grew up with the original version. So it's cross-generational. But yeah, I think so. 100%. To the movie Chappie, do you think that live action remake will have the same effect like the Star Wars prequel trilogy, since those movies were very hated when they came out, but now have gained a cult following, especially with all the people that grew up with them? Do you think in years to come the same can happen with Disney live action remakes? I don't see it happening, because there's a big difference. Star Wars was it's a brand. It's like saying, like, they weren't the same stories. They weren't like animated versions of the original trilogy. So they're two very different beasts. They're two very different beasts. Like, you're talking about remaking the stories in new versions, and you're talking about expanding on the stories within their universe. So it's not like Lion King and Lion King live action. It's Lion King and Lion King 2 and Lion King 1.5. That's the better comparison between Star Wars and the prequels. So I don't see that happening, honestly. I could be wrong, but yeah. Zach?
Let's see. I have the list up here. I guess maybe. I think it just depends, but I will say a lot. It's going to be a while till we see that, just because it is the younger crowd that's doing this. Like, when I talk to my friends with kids or my family members with kids, their kids don't want to watch the cartoons. They want to watch the live action stuff. So, but they're like 5, so they don't really have an opinion till they're. I mean, they have an opinion whenever, but they're not going to have like that big of a vocal opinion till they're like a teenager or even like an adult, So
it's true. All right. Dominici Scott, what are your thoughts on early reviews on The Flash? Are you still excited? Don't know, don't care. Zach, have you seen anything? Do you want to comment on anything?
Just my friends that have seen it. So I hope I like it just as much as them.
All right. Nathan Holden, thoughts on Barbie's soundtrack announcement? Again, don't know, don't care, didn't pay too much attention. We talked about it. Nathan Holden, what do you think will be announced at Comic-Con this year? We talked about it last week. Fantastic Four, like updated dates, because hopefully the writer's strike will be over by then. And just a few announcements for second seasons and updates on what they're doing with Loki and Kang, hopefully. So yeah. Do you have any others?
I have a lot. I actually think one. I think everything you said about Marvel. Yeah, they're gonna go there. They're gonna reshift. Pretty much. I think this is gonna be the first time we're gonna see Kevin Feige pretty transparent with what's going on in the Marvel Studios,
Okay.
with stuff being rushed out and them taking that feedback. And I think he's gonna address that with the fans and say, we were putting out too much, so this is what the plan is going forward. Just how they were last year, a little bit more transparent than usual when announcing phases. And I think we're going to see Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty get pushed back a lot, a fuck ton.
Yeah.
I also would say expect James Gunn there. I think that's where we get the rest of the announcements for the DC Chapter 1 or whatever the hell they're calling it. If not, just Superman. James Gunn will be there with Superman. That's where we get the announcement of the entire cast, without a doubt. James Gunn loves Comic-Con, and
it'll leak before, but yes,
it'll leak before, but the official announcement will come then. But I think it'd be cool to announce the rest of it. I just think since you still have Aquaman at the end of the year and Blue Beetle, I think there might be a little bit of a worry to do that all a little bit more, but I don't know. Maybe they bring them there as well.
All right. Dominican Scott, thoughts on Spider-Man 2 PlayStation trailer? Did it remind you of previous Spider-Man games like Web of Shadows? I didn't watch it. Zach already talked about it. But like, did it remind you of Web of Shadows? I never played it.
Web of Shadows is cool, but it's so different. I mean, I don't know how much you want to know from what was in the trailer or what you saw, so I don't really want to talk about it.
Not a lot. Like it's gameplay. Gameplay trailers don't interest me. Like you can talk about it. Like it's not one of those I am avoiding it, but it's like I'm not interested in watching it.
There is actually a lot more story in that trailer than I was.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, I mean it's 10 minutes long. And while it is a lot of gameplay showing, I watched someone like break it down because I had it like muted, to be honest, when I was watching it because I was at work. But someone was like, there's like a lot of dialogue in between like all the characters, and I was like, okay, so that's kind of like the gist. That's kind of the story. Okay, I get what they're trying to do there. But yeah, Web of Shadows is different. I did not know Web of Shadows is different.
All right. Dominican Scott, will there ever be a sequel to Alita Battle Angel like Avatar? Hopefully not, because Alita sucked. And it's also nothing like Avatar. Avatar was a major historical, like all-time box office hit. Alita was not. So yeah, I don't think, like, if you ask will there ever, anytime you ask ever, I can't say 0% it will never happen. So sure, but I'm not interested in it. I don't care if it doesn't happen, and if it doesn't, cool. Zach?
I love Alita besides the romance. That romance was fucking awful. Rip it out, take it out, get whatever. I've actually heard that Disney said that they can do a sequel as long as James Cameron directs it. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
That's not
He's
happening.
too busy, and like in between Avatar 3 and 4, he's going to be directing another movie apparently, like one of the passion projects he's been wanting to do.
Terminator. The new Terminator he's writing.
No fucking way he does it. No fucking way.
You want to bet?
I don't think so. I'm not betting,
Scott,
but I don't think he would.
Dominican Scott, do you get to try out the Burger King Spider-Verse Red Burgers? I didn't. I don't even know if it's available here, but I'll tell you right now, it's going to be a Whopper, except it's red. That's it. It's not going to be worth it because it's a Whopper, but it's red instead of being bread color, however you want to call it. Like, it'll make no difference. So yeah, I don't even know that it's available here. It probably isn't. So Zach, did you try it? Are you going to try it?
I'm not getting TMI on here, but no, I'm fine because that's just going to upset my stomach.
Alrighty. Last question from Dominican Scott. What's the best way to find retro games now? I am the wrong person to ask, my friend. I have no idea because I have no interest in retro gaming. But Zach, I know you do have an interest in it, so why don't you help our friend out?
I have zero idea where you are located.
Okay.
So I can only speak for I can only really speak for the United States. To be honest, it depends what you're collecting. If it's Nintendo, good luck. You're gonna spend a lot. That's just the truth. If the game didn't sell well and you want to play it, you're gonna spend a lot. Your best bet: garage sales, yard sales, all that shit. People have games. I haven't gotten lucky on that, but I have countless friends that have. Thrift stores, same thing. Like my friend found like Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3 for $5 at a thrift store, all in perfect condition. He sold them each for $100. So take that as what you will. Like, yeah. So like you can definitely find like good stuff. Facebook has like a Facebook marketplace. I've seen great games on there as well. Sometimes they're a little bit too far. And like I wanted a Mario and Luigi game that was on there. Some guy was selling it for $60 in box. It was going for like $200 online. I think he kind of got word of that because then he kind of skipped out on me. But it really just depends. Just know you are going to spend money. Like there's no doubt about that. I'm actually right now trying to collect a lot of PS3 and PS2 games and Xbox because my prediction is those are the next ones to start blowing up. Or you could be like my friend. I have a friend who actually every time he buys a game, he will buy he'll wait a couple months, and when it goes on sale, he'll buy it again, but he'll keep it sealed. Specifically if it's a Nintendo Switch game. And he's been doing that since the Wii U, and now he has a ton of Wii U games that are sealed and they're worth a lot. So if you want to do that, feel free to. But as for retro gaming, good luck. It's not fun. I haven't bought a retro game in a long time because they're too expensive.
Alrighty, everyone. Let me double check if that is it, because
that was
we
the last
are
one I saw
about
too.
At a time. All right, and that is it for this week in Geek. That is it for episode 51. We will be back hopefully in 2 weeks. I don't know, like this upcoming week. They might tell me next Saturday I'm working too, so who knows? But we'll see you very soon. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned for my The Little Mermaid review this week.
Is that coming up today? Your review?
Yes.
Or is it tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
Today. Because tomorrow I'm working, so I really need to put it out today. And this week I'm going to the multiverse twice. You'll hear about it. You'll hear about one of those trips because I will be embargoed on the other one. And the week after that, Transformers, baby. I cannot wait for Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll be back very soon. Stay tuned for both our channels. That's how you can best find us on our usual reviews, on our usual videos. And big shout out again to Crashing Coyote, Merkley, Tony Movie Chappie for your support of the channel. And until the next one, love each other. I need to go buy a Miles Morales Funko Pop and love the movies. Bye-bye.